Imagine stepping back in time to the year 1350, standing before a massive stone castle. Its towers scrape the sky, a symbol of power and permanence. But a castle was more than just a fortress. It was a bustling, living community. Within these walls, hundreds of people lived and worked their lives woven together by duty and tradition. The air is thick with wood smoke and the savory scent of roasting meat. Castles were crowded, noisy, and full of life, not the empty, echoing fortresses of movies. The noble family was surrounded by a huge household, knights, squires, clerks, and an army of servants. Every person, from steward to scullery maid, had a role to play. The castle was a self-contained world with its own great halls, private chambers, and chapels. Luxury and hardship existed side by side. These were monumental structures, designed to impress and intimidate. The Great Hall was the heart of the castle, where the lord held court and the household gathered to meet. Life inside was governed by strict hierarchy. Your status determined everything. The lord and lady enjoyed relative comfort, but most residents faced a relentless cycle of work. Servants rose before dawn and worked late into the night. Soldiers stood guard in all weather. The castle was a machine, and every person was a vital cog. It was this intricate web of people and roles that brought the stone walls to life. A castle was a world of its own, full of unique challenges and rewards. Behind the stones, it was alive with stories, struggles, and ambition. Every day, the castle pulsed with the energy of its people. It was never just stone. It was a living, breathing community. Welcome to the real world inside a medieval castle. At the top of the castle's social ladder stood the lord and his lady. The lord was a warrior, judge, and landlord. His word was law. He managed estates, trained for battle, and dispensed justice. The lady was a powerful manager, running the household and overseeing supplies, finances, and servants. When the lord was away, she was in charge. Their days began with prayers, followed by meetings, estate business, and sometimes hunting or hawking. Tapestries and fine clothing displayed their wealth and status. Despite privilege, their lives were filled with political intrigue, threats, and personal loss. Their private chambers offered some comfort, but even these were drafty and cold. The noble family's life was a constant balancing act between power, duty, and the harsh realities of the medieval world. Every decision carried weight, and every day brought new challenges. Their authority shaped the lives of everyone within the castle walls. Yet their security was never absolute. In the medieval world, even the highest lived with uncertainty. The Great Hall was the castle's beating heart, a vast, lively space filled with activity. Sunlight streamed through narrow windows, tapestries lined the walls, and a raised dais marked the high table for the lord and honored guests. Here, the household dined, legal disputes were settled, and entertainers performed. Meals reflected the social order. The high table feasted on delicacies while servants ate simple fare. Etiquette was strict, but communal. People shared cups and knives, and forks were rare. After meals, the hall transformed. Servants cleared tables, and some slept on straw mattresses near the hearth. The Great Hall was rarely empty and never quiet. It was a place of noise, music, and constant motion. Announcements, celebrations, and justice all played out here. The hall was a stage for the drama of daily life. It embodied the castle's social structure and public rhythm. Every day, it brought the community together. The Great Hall was more than a room. It was the soul of the castle. Here, the story of the castle unfolded day after day. Hidden from the grandeur of the Great Hall, the kitchens were the castle's engine room. Fires roared, cauldrons bubbled, and the air was thick with smoke and the aroma of roasting meat. The master cook led a team of assistants, scullery maids, spit boys, bakers, and brewers. Preparing food for hundreds required careful planning and relentless work. The nobility enjoyed a rich diet: venison, boar, game birds, and fish, all flavored with expensive spices. Banquets were spectacles with elaborate dishes designed to impress. Swans were feathered attached, pies with live birds, used with culinary subtlety to make a dazzle. The logistics of feeding a castle were staggering. Kitchens were often separate to reduce fire risk. For the staff, it was a world of heat, noise, and constant motion. Their skill and labor sustained the entire household. The kitchens were a testament to organization and creativity. Every meal was a display of status and power. Behind every feast was a team working tirelessly, out of sight but essential. Beneath the nobility, a vast community of servants kept the castle running. Their world was one of hard work, long hours, and little comfort. The steward managed the household with marshals, chamberlains, and butlers overseeing specific areas. Tasks ranged from lighting fires and hauling water to caring for horses and washing endless linens. Most servants slept in communal spaces, on floors, in lofts, or above the kitchens. Their meals were simple: bread, pottage, and wheat ale, often leftovers from the high table. Despite the hardships, service in a noble household offered security and regular meals. Every role, from laundress to chambermaid, was vital to the castle's function. The servants' work was the foundation of daily life. Their efforts made the comfort and order of the castle possible. They lived far from the romance of chivalry, but their labor was essential. The castle's grandeur rested on their shoulders. Without them, the world inside the walls would grind to a halt. Away from the bustle, the lord's family retreated to private chambers, the solar. Located above the Great Hall, the solar was the most comfortable room, with a fireplace and rich tapestries. Here, the lady managed household affairs, met with her ladies-in-waiting, and enjoyed rare moments of leisure. The lord used the solar for private meetings and sensitive business. The bedchamber, with its grand bed and heavy curtains, was the most private space, though true privacy was rare. Servants were always nearby, tending fires or assisting their masters. Even in these rooms, personal space was limited. Still, the solar and bedchamber offered a degree of separation from the public life below. These spaces revealed the personal side of castle life: family, contemplation, and quiet power. In the midst of chaos, the private chambers were a rare sanctuary. A castle was, above all, a military stronghold. Knights, men-at-arms, and local militia formed its defense. Soldiers' lives were a mix of monotony and danger, standing guard, training, and living in Spartan barracks. Their meals were plain, their quarters basic, but their duty was vital. The constable commanded the garrison, maintaining discipline and readiness. Soldiers patrolled the battlements, always alert for threats. In peace, they trained and bonded. In war, they became the castle's shield. Their presence was a constant reminder of the castle's true purpose. The castle's security depended on their vigilance. They were the living embodiment of its strength. Behind the feasts and finery, the threat of war was ever present. Peace was never guaranteed. Every feature of a medieval castle was designed for defense. Moats, whether wet or dry, kept siege engines at bay. The drawbridge and gatehouse formed a deadly barrier, with portcullises and murder holes to trap attackers. Thick, high walls and battlements gave defenders the advantage. Arrow slits and towers allowed archers to rain arrows from safety. The keep, or donjon, was the final refuge, a fortress within a fortress. Attackers faced a gauntlet: cross the moat, breach the gatehouse, scale the walls, and still face resistance. Every element worked together for layered defense. The castle was a statement of power and ingenuity. Its architecture was both practical and intimidating. Defenders could hold out for weeks, even if the outer walls fell. The castle's design was a masterclass in medieval military engineering. It was built to withstand siege and send a clear message: this place will not fall easily. The stone walls were as much a weapon as any sword. Life in a medieval castle was a sensory experience, vivid, noisy, and intense. Rich tapestries and noble finery contrasted with soot-blackened kitchens and muddy courtyards. The clang of blacksmiths, shouts of soldiers, and laughter of servants filled the air. The great hall echoed with feasting music and barking dogs. At night, only the wind and the sentinel's call broke the silence. The smells were overwhelming: wood smoke, roasting meat, animals, and the pungent latrines. Sanitation was basic, and disease was ever present. The castle was a world of contrasts: luxury and hardship, order and chaos. It was more than stone, it was a living ecosystem shaped by the people within. To understand a castle is to see, hear, and smell the reality behind the legend.